Oh, what's going on, guys? Gamer Dude back once again with some more informative gaming news. But before we begin, y'all know the routine, or at least I hope you do by now. If you are new to the channel, please make sure you smash that like button and drop me a subscribe because it would just be your good deed of the day. Same applies if you are a returning viewer. So then, this is part 3 in my series of 4 videos regarding Marvel's Avengers. And in this video, we're going to be talking about the potential of new heroes coming to the game. Even though in one of my previous videos, I mentioned that we couldn't be getting any more. We might not be getting any more. That could be it. But yeah, Marvel's Avengers have actually teased that She-Hulk, another version of Captain America, so I would assume that's Captain Britain, Captain Carter, Shuri and Ironheart will be joining the game's lineup. So from what I can see, all of those Echo characters. She-Hulk, Echo of the Hulk. She might just have a different heroic attack. Like in the She-Hulk TV series, she had the multiple thunderclaps instead of just one big thunderclap. She might have a wrestling takedown instead of Hulk's onset of rage bashing on the floor sort of deal. You know what I mean? Another version of Captain America, obviously, it's got to be Captain Britain. I doubt it'll be US Agent, otherwise it would have said US Agent, because Captain America is kind of a big brand name, and to have US Agent appear as Captain America, then it doesn't really make him US Agent, it just makes him another Captain America. So my theory is that it's going to be Captain Britain, Agent Carter, simply because, well, it's all they can do, really. If they're really pushing on this whole Echo character thing, that characters don't come with any story, any additional content, it's just a character, then that's all they can really do. Because US Agent, he would be something new. He would be a different character entirely, much like Bucky was. Then you've got Shuri, who of course is basically just another Black Panther, so it's just another Echo character. I imagine she would have pretty much identical attacks to Black Panther, just a slightly different fighting style, given that she's a woman. And then, of course, is Ironheart, which, of course, is just another Echo. It's just Iron Man. I mean, yeah, she'll probably have a couple of different attacks. Like, maybe she won't have the Hulk Buster. She might have something unique to her for the ultimate heroic. But I would think that she would still use, the Arc Overload, the Arc Reactor Unibeam. So, essentially, yeah, the 4 new characters that have been rumored are just characters we already have, really. And when characters like this come to the game, we saw it with Jane Foster's Mighty Thor, and we saw it with Spider-Man. They came with nothing, it was just a character. It was just an incentive for you to just basically pick up the game and upgrade these heroes to the new 185 power level, which a lot of people still can't actually do because, well, you can't do the missions for it, because if you don't have any friends that play the game, you've got to do it with randoms. And randoms are extraordinarily unreliable when it comes to Marvel's Avengers, because they will either drop out, not do anything, or when you're in the matchmaking screen, the game will decide, oh yeah, I've got you a team of 4, so you click ready, and then the game decides, nah, I'm going to kick them all out now and make you wait again. And normally, for a session to fill up, you wait in about 10-15 minutes now, because the game is virtually dead. Hardly anybody plays it anymore. So moving on, the infamous Marvel's Avengers have definitely teased the appearance of these additional heroes next year, well, this year, before the game loses its support. Now, the current state of the game isn't something Eidos Montreal or Crystal Dynamics should be very proud of. It's a AAA title that plays like an indie game at this point. It's really bad at this point. You know, there's still bugs that they haven't fixed from day one, and that's over 2 years ago now. Much like the fandom has really criticised the appearance of 4 new additions to the game's roster, stating that many of them look and feel like they are discounted versions of actual heroes, and that the game has lost its charm. You know, as I was saying, they're just basically echo characters. You know, they're not new. We've already seen this. We've already got this. You know, if they don't come with any dialogue, if they don't come with any missions, then what's the point of them? You know, the game really isn't what they promised. You know, we did know from the start that if they were going to be adding characters similar to ones we've already got, then they might not get a story. But now it seems like that's all they are wanting to do. It's like they cannot be asked to make actual characters that come with actual content anymore, and it is really damaging the game. So, according to comicbook.com, the heavily rumoured Marvel's Avengers heroes, as I mentioned at the start of the video, will include another version of Captain America, Shuri, Ironheart, and She-Hulk. It seems like Eidos Montreal and Crystal Dynamics are trying to brush some of Marvel's current cinematic success. You know, obviously I'm talking about the She-Hulk series and Black Panther Wakanda Forever's film. To boost the game's sort of popularity, you know, to bring players back, you know, because if they watch that movie or that show, then they're going to be like, oh yeah, I know that character. I want to play as that character now, actually. You know, that's what they are hoping. But I get the feeling it's just going to be a bad case of they're going to load it up, figure out it's just a character that comes with absolutely nothing, you know, no codex entries, no new villains to fight, and they're going to put the game straight back down again. That's pretty much what I did after Bucky. I got Winter Soldier up to the 156 ranging power level, and I just gave up. I just could not be bothered anymore. But yeah, considering that these characters were actually teased but not officially announced, and the fact that the game is losing the support from its developer, the rumoured heroes might just get cancelled and never see the light of day. And as I mentioned in the previous video, the game could just possibly end with one big final character and everything else just gets canned. Because, as I was saying, it would be a bit of a dick move on the developer's part, setting up all this Kree storyline and this invasion coming, and then them just not going anywhere with it. You know, it would also suck because for a game like this with its IP and with the title, when you set up a story, you expect it to be finished. You know, if if the Avengers movies, for example, finished with Infinity War, I think we'd all have been a bit cheesed off with that, you know, not seeing any resolution to that story. And that's what I'm talking about right here, you know. If they finish it without that resolution, there's going to be a lot of cheesed off people. But even if the said heroes do happen to appear in the game, it's likely going to be part of some in-game event without much fanfare behind it. The last hero the game received was the Winter Soldier, and the fandom wasn't particularly happy with the character model, whose hair seemed like something pulled from a 2005 gaming title, and not to mention, a dude looks like a lady. Sorry, had to do that. But yeah, we know Crystal Dynamics Studios have trouble with hair animations. But Crystal Dynamics should have asked their colleagues at Embracer Group to pitch in, you know, or even asked them at Eidos Montreal to pitch in, because in Lara Croft, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, she has an absolutely gorgeous head of hair. Just saying, they know how to do hair. If I ever need a perm, I suppose I will contact Eidos Montreal. But yeah, anyway, that's not even the worst part. The fandom complaints that the new heroes don't actually feel any different than second tier heroes is already present in the game, This is particularly true for She-Hulk and Ironheart, whose power feels adjacent to other characters from Marvel's Avengers, like, as I was saying, Hulk and Iron Man. It makes the new heroes feel just uninspiring, You want to feel awestruck by these heroes, but it's just totally uninspiring because they're copied. It's just a copy and paste job. Now, the last hero that had a proper welcoming, with a proper story and proper narrative, was Black Panther in the War for Wakanda expansion. And that expansion really excited me. I was really hopeful for the game's future after that expansion. I was thinking, oh, well, okay, maybe the game's not doing so bad, Maybe we're going to get some decent content and decent characters after this, with a decent story. But it just hasn't happened, because even Winter Soldier, he came with one freaking mission, and it's locked behind a power level. It's like locking something behind a paywall, and it is just stupid, It's a bad move, is all I'm saying. But obviously, since the game's launch, it has suffered. Marvel's Avengers was released in late 2020 to a somewhat positive initial reception. However, problems soon reared, and the game had a massive player drop due to audiences being frustrated by bugs, repetitive gameplay, and the lack of content in the game itself. It seems like even the story mode for the game was half finished. They just left it as it was so they could put everything else into the live service portion of the game. So some have praised the game, of course, for its multiplayer component, but the general consensus among players and fans is that the story mode felt very uninspiring due to the lack of content. Crystal Dynamics did state that they'd make things right and issued numerous fixes that made Marvel's Avengers somewhat playable. I emphasize on somewhat because it is still buggy as hell. But yeah, the company then released the War for Wakanda expansion and the PlayStation exclusive Spider-Man to the game, along with plenty of other heroes. But unfortunately, Marvel's Avengers never got out of the shadow of its initial failure. The game's developer and publisher have stated that Marvel's Avengers won't receive further support in terms of further story and content development, which usually means that the game will remain up on servers until the cost of maintenance for it exceeds the revenue that's actually generated by the game on a yearly basis. So at which point we can expect the powers that be to shut it down, take it down. And it would actually, if that happens within the next, say, 2 years, it would be the first next-gen game to be shut down. And that is saying a lot. Because it will be hard to get out of that shadow if someone wants to make another Avengers game in the future. But this should be a lesson learned, for all game developers and publishers. Slapping a popular name on your product doesn't make it good, Other than Insomniac, with the superhero thing they did with Spider-Man, it's just not good, everything else is not good. You know, they need to just stop and give everything to Insomniac. You know, they need to just be like, right, Insomniac, Sony, you take over, because Insomniac have proved that they can do it and that they can do it right. Spider-Man was flawless. It was beautiful. It had a couple of teething issues, but it was flawless. It was beautiful, and it definitely lived up to its name. You know, the developers, they did well. They did very well with Spider-Man. But anyway, yeah, that's it for this video then. So I hope you all enjoyed it. Once again, if you are new to the channel, please make sure you smash that like button and drop me a subscribe, because it would just be your good deed of the day. Same applies if you are a returning viewer. It also lets YouTube know that you enjoyed the video, and it adds it to the algorithm for other people to enjoy as well. So yeah, do let me know in the comments what you guys think. I'd love to hear your thoughts and feelings on this. You know, do you agree with me that superhero games should just stop from other developers, and the competition should stop as well, and they should just allow Insomniac and Sony to take over, you know, to let Insomniac and Sony do it? Because once again, and I've said this before, I will keep saying it, Insomniac have proved that they can do it and do it right. So yeah, just stay tuned, as there's a lot coming from me in the coming weeks. We have some more Sonic Frontiers gameplay coming. We'll have some more Saints Row gameplay coming, mostly free mode stuff, because I've completed the story mode on that now. I've sadly just completed Fallen Order, so I won't be live streaming that anymore, because there's really nothing else to do on that anymore. But not to worry, there's still going to be plenty of videos and content coming. So stay tuned. It is going to be a huge year for gaming, a huge year for the channel. Y'all already know what's coming. I don't need to say it again, but February we have Hogwarts Legacy, and that is just going to be the big game of the year for my channel. You know, every time I discover something new, I'm going to upload it. Every time I'm playing it, I'm probably just going to live stream it. It's going to be a big game. It's going to be beautiful. Can't wait. It is a month away now. Well, at the time of recording this video, it's a month away. So yeah, it's going to be good. We're going to have a great year. So yeah, that being said then, this has been Gamer Dude. Happy gaming, and I will catch you all in the next one, guys.